It could take more than 10 years to clear the cancer treatment backlog in England. That's what a new report suggests. Research by the Institute for Public Policy Research estimates that more than 19,000 people have failed to be diagnosed with cancer due to missed referrals during the pandemic. Between March 2020 and February this year, cancer referrals to a specialist fell by 15%. And the proportion of those cases that were still highly curable has fallen to 41%, down 3 percentage points from before the pandemic. That means that for thousands of people, cancer treatment could now come too late. We're joined now by Dr. Parth Patel, a research fellow at the Institute for Public Policy Research and an NHS doctor. Thank you so much for talking to us. So has this issue been solely caused by the pandemic, or were there problems before?
There were problems before. Before the pandemic, the UK had worse cancer survival outcomes than most comparable countries. But the figures that we've just seen in that segment, that is very much reflecting what's happened in the past 18 months. We've seen disruptions across from cancer screening to cancer treatment, and making up for that mistreatment is a big challenge. And that's what's led to some of those modelled figures that we've just seen.
Now, you could have people watching this and thinking, gosh, I think something may well be wrong, but what's the point in going to the doctor? Because this may not be solved. So should we be worried about this?
We should be worried about this, absolutely. There's a few challenges ahead, and there are two main bottlenecks, I think, for the NHS to expand its capacity and to get through this missing care, these backlogs next year, as opposed to in the next decade. And those are diagnostics and workforce. We haven't got enough equipment, enough space, enough rooms, enough chairs to expand the capacity needed to get through these backlogs within the next year. And we haven't got enough staff. These are already people that are working as many hours as they possibly can. There are steps the government can take to expand the size of that workforce. You can stop, for example, pension tax rules encouraging early retirement in clinical oncologists. These are easy wins, and policy like that will make a massive difference to patients and get.
Now, we don't want to seem, doom and gloom about this at all, but can this be fixed without a large injection of cash, especially when the country appears to be strapped for cash at the moment anyway?
So it's difficult. The amount of money the government have just announced is enough to keep the NHS afloat, but it's not enough to stop trade-offs between services. We're going to have to decide what service we want to provide and what service we can't provide. That is inevitable with the amount of money that's been announced. Now, there is obviously room for more money to be spent, and in particular on diagnostic equipment. That is a part of the funding package. There was nothing in the recent funding package that had money for diagnostics, and that will make a massive difference to cancer outcomes. In terms of the workforce, sure, it takes a long time to train someone to become a doctor or a nurse, but there are small things you can do. You can look after the current workforce. You can ensure people take their annual leave. You can change the pension tax rules to keep the size of the consultant workforce as big as possible. That isn't an expensive policy, but it's something that will make a massive difference to cancer patients.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens from here on in. Well, Dr. Parth Patel, thanks for talking to us this afternoon.
Thanks.